Did you hear what I was playing, Blair?
I didn't think it polite to listen, sir.
I'm sorry for that, for your sake. I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately. But I play with wonderful expression. By the way, why is it that Butcher's establishment servants invariably drink champagne? I ask merely for information.
I attribute to the superior quality of wine, sir. I have often observed that in marriage households, the champagne is rarely of first-rate brand.
Good heavens! Is marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe it is for a pleasant state, sir. I have had a little experience of it myself up to the present. I have only been married once. That was a consequence of misunderstanding between myself and the young person.
I don't know if I am much interested in your family life, Blair.
No, sir, it's not a very interesting subject. I never think of it myself.
Very natural, I'm sure. That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ernest Worthing.
How are you, my dear Ernest?
Eating as usual, I see, Algie.
I believe it is customary in good society to have some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been since last Thursday?
In the country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring. Hello, why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who is coming to tea?
No, now you understand Gwendolen.
How perfectly delightful.
Yes, it is all very well. But I'm afraid Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolen is perfectly disgraceful. It is almost as bad as the way Gwendolen flirts with you.
I am in love with Gwendolen. I have come up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you had come up for pleasure. I called it business.
How utterly unromantic you are.
I don't really see anything romantic in proposing. It is very romantic to be in love. But there is nothing romantic about a definite proposal. If ever I get married, I certainly try to forget the fact. Oh, please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. They are especially for Augusta.
Well, you have been eating them all the time.
That is quite a different matter. She's my aunt. Have some bread and butter. Bread and butter is for Gwendolen. Gwendolen is devoted to bread and butter.
And a very good bread and butter it is too.
Well, my dear fellow, you need not eat it as if you were going to eat it all.
Why?
You behave as if you are married to her already. You are not married to her already, and I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
Well, in the first place, girls never marry the man they flirt with. Girls don't think it right.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't. It is the great truth. It accounts to an extraordinary number of bachelors that one sees all over the place. In the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
Well, dear fellow, Gwendolen is my first cousin. And before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth do you mean? What do you mean, Algie, by Cecily? I don't know anyone of the name of Cecily.
Bring me that cigarette case Mr. Worthing left us time he died here.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean to say you have had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you had let me know. I was writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it. I was very nearly offering a large reward.
Oh, yeah. But it isn't your cigarette case. This cigarette case is a present from someone of the name of Cecily. And you said you don't know anyone with that name?
Well, if you want to know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming old lady she is too. Just give it back to me.
But why do your aunt call you her uncle? From little Cecily, with her fondest love, to her dear Uncle Jack. And your name is Jack at all? Ernest.
Well, it is Ernest in town and Jack in the country, and the case was given to me in the country.
I may mention I have always suspected you to be a confirmed and secret barbarist. I'm quite sure of it now.
Barbarist? What on earth do you mean by a barbarist?
I reveal to you this incomparable expression as soon as you are kind enough to inform me why you are Ernest in town and Jake in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now produce your explanation and pray make it improbable.
My dear fellow, there is nothing improbable about my explanation. In fact, it is perfectly ordinary. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as of her uncle, from the reasons of respect you could not possibly appreciate, lives in my place in the country under the charge of admirable governess, Miss Prism, and as a high moral tone can hardly be said to induce very much of either one's health or happiness, in order to get up to town, I have always pretended to have a younger brother of the name of Earnest, who lives in the Albany and gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algie, is the whole truth, pure and simple.
What you really are is barbarist. I was quite right in saying that you were a barbarist. You are one of the most advanced barbarists I know.
What on earth do you mean?
Well, you have invented a very useful younger brother called Ernest, in order that you may be able to come up to town as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid called Bambari, in order that I may be able to go down into the country whenever I choose. Bambari is perfectly invaluable. If it wasn't for Bambari's extraordinary bad health, for instance, I wouldn't be able to dine with you at Willie's tonight, for I have been really engaged to Augusta for more than a week.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know, you are absurdly careless about sending out invitations. It is very foolish of you. Nothing annoys people so much as not receiving invitations.
Well, I am not a vampirist at all. In fact, if Gwendolen accepts me, I am going to get rid of Ernest. Indeed, I think I am going to get rid of him in any way. Cecily is a bit too much interested in him, so I am going to kill Ernest. And I strongly advise you to do the same with your friend with the absurd name.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, dear Algernon. I hope you're behaving very well. I'm feeling well, Augusta. This is not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together. Dear me, you are smart.
I am always smart, and I'm Mr. Wealthy.
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope you're not that. It was with no room for developments, and I intend to develop in many directions.
I am afraid that, Augusta, I shall have to give up the pleasure of dining with you tonight after all. I have just had a telegram to inform me that my poor friend Banbarist is very ill again. They seem to think I should be with him. It is very strange. This Mr. Banbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health. Yes, Banbury is a dreadful invalid. Well, I must say, Algernon, I think it is high time that Mr. Banbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or to die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd. I should be much obliged if you could ask Mr. Banbury from me not to have relapse on Saturday, for I rely on you to arrange my music for me. I'll speak to Banbury if he's still cautious, and I think I can promise you that he will be all right by Saturday. But I'll run over the program I've drawn out if you will kindly come to the next meeting for a moment. Thank you, Algernon. Gwendolen, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mama.
Charming day it has been, Miss Fairfax.
Pray don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Wealthy. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else, and that makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I am never wrong.
And I would also like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Mama has a way of coming back suddenly into a room that I have often had to speak to her about.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I have admired you more than any girl I have met ever since I met you.
Yes, I am quite aware of the fact, and my idea was always to have someone of the name of Earnest. There's something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Ernest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolen.
Passionately.
Darling, you don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Ernest.
But you don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest.
But your name is Ernest.
Yes, I know it is, but supposing it was something else, you couldn't love me then? Really, Gwendolen, I think there are lots of much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, is a charming name.
Jack? No, there's very little music in the name Jack, if any at all, indeed. It does not thrill, it produces absolutely no vibrations. I have known several Jacks, and all of them, without exception, were more than usually plain. The only safe name is Ernest.
Gwendolen, I must get Christians at once. I mean, we must get married at once.
Married, Mr. Worthing.
Well, surely, you know that I love you, and you led me to believe, Miss Fairfax, that you were not totally indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet. The subject has not been even touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I think it would be an admirable opportunity. And to spare you any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I feel it only fair to tell you quite frankly beforehand that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolen,
Yes, Mr. Worthing, what have you got to say to me?
you know what I have got to say to you.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolen, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long have you been about it?
Mr. Worthing! Rise, sir, from this semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mama, I must beg you to retire. Besides, Mr. Worthing has not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I'm engaged to Mr. Worthing, Mama.
Gwendolen, to the carriage. In the carriage, Gwendolen!
Yes, Mama.
You can take a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell. I prefer standing.
I feel bound to tell you that you are not down on my list of eligible young men. However, I am quite ready to enter your name. What is your age?
29.
A very good age to be married at. I have always been of opinion that a man who desires to get married should know either everything or nothing. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I'm pleased to hear that. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year. I have a small country house with some land, of course, attached to it. About 1,500 acres, I believe.
And now to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both my parents.
To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, might be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father?
The fact is that I said I have lost my parents. It would be near the truth to say that my parents seem to have lost me. I don't know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
Yes, and old Mr. Thomas Cardew found me and gave me the name of Worthing because he happened to have a first-class ticket to Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort.
Where did this charitable gentleman who had a first-class ticket to this seaside resort find you?
In the handbag.
A handbag.
Yes, Lady Bracknell, a somewhat large brown leather handbag with some handles, of course, attached to it. An ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what locality did this Mr. James or Thomas Cardew find this ordinary handbag?
In the cloakroom at Wiktoria station. It was given to him in mistake for his own.
A cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes, the Brighton line.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to make a new relations as soon as possible and to make a definite effort to produce at any rate one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
Well, I do not see how I could possibly manage to do that. I can produce the handbag at any time. It is in my dressing room at home. I really think that should satisfy you, Lady Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You could hardly imagine that I and Lord Bracknell would dream of allowing our only daughter to get married into a cloakroom and to make an alliance with a parson. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
Good morning. You don't think there is any chance of Gwendolen becoming like her mother in about 150 years, do you, Algie?
All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That is his. By the way, did you tell Gwendolen about your being Earnest in town and Jiggity country?
My dear fellow, the truth isn't quite the sort of things one says to a sweet, nice, refined girl. Really, what an extraordinary ideas you have about the ways to behave to women.
And what about your brother? What about the profligate Earnest?
Well, I say he died in Paris of apoplexy. Lots of people die of apoplexy, don't they?
Yes, my dear fellow, but it is hereditary. It's the sort of thing that runs in the family. You had much better say a severe chill.
You are sure a severe chill isn't hereditary or anything of that kind?
Of course it isn't.
Very well then. My poor brother Ernest is carried off suddenly in Paris by a severe chill. That gets rid of him.
Well, I thought you said that Miss Kerju was a little too much interested in you, brother Ernest. Won't she find his loss a great deal?
Oh, there's nothing to worry about. Cecily is not a silly romantic girl, I'm glad to say. She has got a capital appetite, goes on her own walks, and pays no attention at all to her lessons.
I would rather like to see Cecily.
I will take very good care you never do. She is excessively pretty and she is just 18.
Did you tell Gwendolen that you have an excessively pretty ward who is only just 18?
Oh, one doesn't blurt these things out to people. Cecily and Gwendolen are perfectly certain to be extremely great friends. I'll bet you anything you like that half an hour after they have met, they will be calling each other a sister.
Women only do that if they call each other a lot of other things first. But, my dear boy, if you want to get a nice hair with Willis, we really must go and dress down. Do you know it's nearly 7?
Oh, it always is nearly 7.
Well, I'm hungry.
I never knew you when you weren't.
What shall we do after dinner? Go to the theater?
Oh no, I love listening.
Well, let us go to a club.
Oh no, I hate talking.
We may trot around to the Empire Town.
Oh no, I can't bear looking at things. It is so silly.
What shall we do?
Nothing.
It is excessively hard work doing nothing. However, I don't mind hard work if there is no defined object of any kind.
Miss Fairfax?
Algie, kindly turn your back. I have something very particular to say to Mr. Worthing.
Really, Gwendolen, I don't know if I can allow this at all.
Algie, always adopt a strictly immoral attitude towards life. You're not quite old enough to do that.
My darling.
Ernest, we will never be married. From the expression of Mama's face, our feel will never show.
Dear Gwendolen.
The story of our romantic origin has naturally stirred the deeper fibers of my nature. Your Christian name has an irresistible fascination. The simplicity of your character makes you exquisitely incomprehensible to me. Your town address at the Albany I have. What is your address in the country?
The Manor House, Woolton, Hertfordshire.
There is a good postal service, I suppose. It might be necessary to do something desperate. That, of course, will require serious consideration. I will communicate with you daily.
My own one.
How long do you remain in town?
Till Monday.
Good. Algie, you may turn around now.
Thanks, I've turned around already.
You may also ring the bell.
You will let me see you to your carriage.
Certainly.
I will see Miss Fairfax out.
Yes, sir.
Glass of sherry, lady.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow I'm going bambaic.
Yes, sir.
You may put up my dress clothes, my smoking jacket, and all bambai suits.
Yes, sir.
will be a fine day, Lane.
But it never is, sir.
Lane, you're a perfect pessimist.
I do my best to give you satisfaction, sir.